Let's talk about friends. It was Nikki's one-year wedding anniversary, and JD is not just Nikki's best friend, but she was also maid of honor at her wedding. Nikki was surprised to see her because she never recalled sending her an invitation. And what about other friends? They are not just friends, but couples and family. They were also as surprised as Nikki was when JD walked in. And with the introduction, here is Banji, Ejura, Michael, Sadia, Ibrahim, Tosin, and Annie. It's been 1 year now since they all saw JD last. It was a big occasion on this day, and it seemed to have a hold on every couple sitting here. Everyone wasn't comfortable with JD, maybe because she's the only single among the couples, or perhaps she was way smarter than everyone in the room. What do I mean? They talked from career to business. Ibrahim was starting a new tomato production line in his factory as a businessman. Everyone thinks it's a good idea, but JD thinks his strategies aren't competitive enough. And how about their personal lives? Everyone believes marriage is the best thing that can happen to anyone, not until JD countered the gesture. To her, you can't tell the difference between married people and their loyalty these days. Everyone really felt defeated by her words. Although the evening was fun together. It's 6 months now after the anniversary, and a lot has really happened. Michael owns one of the biggest lounges in town. He and Banji are the best of patties among the other guys. The problem with Michael is that he can't let anything under skirt breathe. Banjo thinks that Michael is way too lucky to have such a problem compared to him who can't satisfy his wife, especially when she's ovulating. They also need a baby as quickly as possible. That shouldn't be a problem to Banji. Michael got him covered. Ibrahim has got his own problems too with his new factory. Everything doesn't appear to be adding up with the plan, although he doesn't joke with his family too. Sadia seems not to understand what he's passing through now. She has her own bills too, and her husband appears to be her only source of survival. Meanwhile, Tosan has been battling with his marriage. Annie was already tired of the marriage. She hasn't been faithful to Tosan. Aside from that, the couples both seem to disagree with every little thing. This pisses Annie up, you know. But how many men can withstand a heartbreak today? Back at home, Michael has a wonderful family, but the problems still persist. The couple's understanding is the reason why they remain strong. Michael found his daughter, Uwa, putting on a bracelet which he didn't like as a girl of her age. Uwa told him that she found it in her school bag and wore it. Michael believed her and hid it when Ejura walked in. They were already late and had to leave. But how come with the bracelet? Finally, on JD's block, she is an industrious lady who just loves working hard for her and her son. But to advance her career, she had her eyes on the vacant seat as one of the board members of Chapel Sterling Investment. And the only way to get the opportunity is to wait and speak with the chairman later in the evening. JD also had to pick her son from the airport, but she wouldn't want to miss out on such an opportunity with the chairman. She called her mother to help pick her son up. Granny will do anything for her daughter and grandson. The pack of friends usually meets every Wednesday evening to see a movie. They were surprised when Annie didn't show up. They decided to do some shopping, but something struck Ejura when she saw a black, beautiful dress she liked. Ibrahim as well wasn't free. He still has a lot on his plate coupled with his wife's demanding needs. He has to find a way out now. Ejura seems to also have her dark secrets. Michael couldn't figure out what it was with her suspicious moves. He knows it was only a matter of time to find out. JD waited for longer hours that she already gave up when her colleague encouraged her what it would mean to her career. She was left with no choice and didn't know when she slept off. She woke up to find her boss right in front of her. He is quite a gentleman. The chairman understood why she was here. Although he doesn't like women on the board, he may consider her only if she could complete a task. She has to convince Ibrahim to sell his company. Michael helped Banji sort out herbal ways to help him with the strength he needed to satisfy his wife. But everything was confusing now. Banji still woke up with erection. Nikki saw what was going on and wanted more, but he had work for the day and had to sneak out. All JD could think about is becoming a board member. She almost forgot her son was back until Timmy walked in. She was shocked to see what her son has become. Timmy's grandma thinks he needs spiritual deliverance. Tosan still couldn't get over the heartbreak. His world was almost crashing. He was still in his grieving state when Sadia knocked. She came to check on her friend. She tried to find out when she saw something awkward. She thought Tosan had killed his wife. Ijura knows her husband is cheating again with his frequent calls. She's a woman who understands him and tolerates his excesses. Ijura called Nikki to let her know. She thinks Michael is cheating on her with JD after the anniversary party. Nikki doesn't think so. She could attest to the fact that JD doesn't sleep with married men. They were still on call when Sadia called. She thinks Tosan killed Annie. They had to come together to find a way, or better still, handle the situation with caution. Banji still had his acute erection issues. He needs Michael now. After calling the Malam who prescribed the medication, he will have to live with it within the next 36 hours. Banji couldn't withstand the embarrassment from the office. Ibrahim needs help now, and Michael seems to be his only alternative. Michael doesn't have the kind of amount he was demanding for. But he gave him the best advice that has helped him, since he was going to still lose everything. Gambling what he had left could be his only option. JD came home one evening. She has never had time for her son. Timi told his mother to relax. He's not a gay, or whatever she's thinking. He's only practicing gender fluidity. Timi now has the liberty to become a male or female at his own will. JD wouldn't accept this. She asked her mother to invite the pastor as quickly as possible. The ladies think their husbands could do better in finding out the whereabouts of Annie. Michael and others found out that Annie left him for another man. It all started at the party. She kept receiving calls, but she wouldn't pick hers calls until she finally left him. Tosan doesn't deserve this. Michael thinks it's time he moved on. Tosan wouldn't remain like this forever. It's time he better made good use of himself. Michael's lounge would be a nice place to rejuvenate. Michael was surprised to hear that Tosan never cheated on his wife after 20 years of their marriage. This was rare to men of this age. They were still talking when his phone rang. His wife was just arrested. Sadia wanted to see for herself. She got the address of the apartment where Annie and her newly found sugar reside. Annie was surprised to see her. She tried to explain her actions of being in captivity all in the name of marriage for over 2 decades. Roger is Annie's newly found lover. He walked in when the ladies were still in argument, and Sadia is not willing to fraternize with him. Ejura was accused of stealing a dress worth 12,000 naira in a store. This was so embarrassing to Michael, but tried as much as possible to cover up. Nonetheless, he knew what his wife was capable of. On the other hand, JD got the most horrific news at the office. The chairman had just employed his son into the vacant seat of the board. This came as a big blow to her face. She just found out that the chairman used her to get to Ibrahim. Meanwhile, Ibrahim's problems now are at the crux of the matter. He is left with no other alternative than to yield to Michael's advice. He staked all he had left with the hope of making a fortune. Fortunately for him, he won. Roger already knew him. He congratulated him, and also wanted Ibrahim to meet with his associates where he could make 12 times his money. Ibrahim thought about the juicy offer and was interested. Tosan stayed all alone at the lounge having a nice time when a beautiful young lady, Monica, came to sit close to him. They introduced themselves to each other and had a nice evening together. What's more interesting is that they had a lot in common, which made everything so perfect for Tosan. It's high time Michael fixed the problem. Ejura tried to cover up not until Michael found out about all she stole from different stores. Michael could still remember the bracelet she stole from Nikki at the party, which she eventually hid inside their daughter's school bag. Ejura admitted that she is a kleptomaniac. Michael also attested that he is a sex addict. Now they need each other like never before. Nikki and Banji find out they had difficulty in their home with producing children, so the couples decide to see a doctor. The couples underwent a number of tests. The doctor called to let them know that Banji has low sperm count. The only option now is through IVF. JD wants her son's sanity back. Her mother believes in the man of God's powers to bring back her grandson. Little did they know that Timi has been acting up all this while just to get his mother's attention. He's not happy with his mom forcing him to bend to her will regardless of how he feels or what he wants. At least JD is relieved now. Tosan feels he has found the one who completes him. He wanted to make her feel special that morning when she came out. But unfortunately, she had to leave. Tosan wanted her number, but she promised to call him. He just remembered that she never had his contact, but it was already late. He knew he could get her number from Michael, only for him to find out that she is a sex worker who Michael paid to keep him company while he went to bail his wife. She also lied about her name. Her real name is Faithful. Tosan doesn't care anymore. All he wants now is her contact. Michael had no choice but to grant his request. After much thought, Ibrahim sold his company so he could raise 1 million euros to make 12 times his worth. He then transferred the money to Roger in order to be eligible to win the grand prize. Roger gave him an address where they could meet. He just found out that he has been duped. This is the worst that can happen to any man, especially a man who was once rich and back to nothing. He wanted to drown himself. He had to call his lovely wife for the last time to take care of the children. Sadia told him to come home. She has the check with her. Roger understood the trick behind gambling. He just saved Ibrahim from losing everything he had. And that was the end. And to wrap it up, Nikki and Banji were blessed with a set of twins through IVF. Michael and Azura are both in therapy and are behaving better now. Ibrahim started a baby food factory, all thanks to Roger and Annie, who finally settled for each other. Tosan and Faithful are welcoming their first child soon. And finally, JD started her own firm as she walked away from Chapel Sterling, although she still prefers her single life.
Thanks for watching. Please comment your thoughts and also like and share this video for more super amazing videos that we are bringing to you. And if you're watching from our YouTube channel, you can also subscribe and turn on your notification for more. Thank you.